Hi everyone, it is Atia here at Booking It with Atia, and today we're going to get into my mid-year freakout tag. I don't know the original person who did this tag all these years ago, but I've been seeing this since I started watching booktube, and yeah, it's always nice to look back at how your reading year is going so far. So basically, these are the highlights, the disappointments, the highs and lows of my reading year up until July 1st or June 30th, however you want to do that. I am going to start out with some stats before we get into the categories slash superlative section. All right, starting with the stats, this is culminating everything I've read January through June of this year. I read 161 books that totaled 20,641 pages and 417.40 hours. My average star rating was 4.14. 5 of my books were rereads. I had 14 DNFs. 12 of the books were debuts. 45 were new to me authors. 13 of the books were indie published or indie authors. There were 18 new releases, 127 backlist books, and 16 ARCs or advanced reader copies, which is pretty exciting. And going straight into the superlatives, because I'm not trying to have this be a super long video. And I also didn't do one book per category because I couldn't. I really couldn't. I'm not even gonna say I tried. I didn't try. I just knew that I would not be able to just have one book per superlative. So here we go. Best books I've read so far in 2025. We have King of Ashes by S.A. Cosby, which I believe I talked about in my June wrap up. So I don't even think I'll go into depth a lot about any of these, honestly, but 10s across the board. Excellent book. I also have The Color Purple by Alice Walker as being one of my best books in 2025. I'm so glad that I finally picked up and read this book. It's been a long time coming. Of course, no one is surprised. Oathbound by Tracy Deonn. Chef kiss of a book. Then there's also Confessions of an Alleged Good Girl by Joya Goffney. This one is one of those backlist titles that I've been eyeing for a while, and I'm really excited. Not really excited, but I'm really glad that I finally got to it. It did not disappoint, and I am looking forward to reading another Joya Goffney because I believe there's at least one more of hers that I need to read before I'm caught up. And then we have a nonfiction that made this list, Black Girls Breathing by Jasmine Marie. I talked about this in either my February or March wrap up. I can't remember which one, but this honestly completely rewired my brain and how I think about myself and my health and how I just am trying to exist in this world. And then last up, in one of the best books I've read so far in 2025 is Sky Full of Elephants by Sebo Campbell. This one was a complete curveball. Put that there. A complete curveball. I did not expect to love this book as much as I did. It really took me by surprise, and I'm so glad that I finally got my hands on a finished copy. In February, I was looking for it and wasn't in any of the bookstores I was going to, but I finally ordered myself a copy. Next up, the next superlative, we have best sequel of the first half of the year. Oathbound, of course, the sequel to Bloodmarked and Legendborn Cycle. We also have Jade War by Fonda Lee. I finally read the Green Bone Saga, and Jade War was just a gem of a sequel. It is one of the most perfect middle books that I've ever encountered, and I've encountered a lot of middle books in series, and Fonda Lee just did what she has to do with that sequel. We also have More Than This by Crystal Marquise. This is the sequel to The Davenports. It nicely wrapped up that duology. Absolutely loved it, and it just, again, did what it needed to do. Took me by surprise as well. We also have Capone 3 by Jaquel J. I absolutely love this series. I gobbled these 3 books up, and I think, honestly, probably could have put the second one on here too, but I figured I'd put the third one to encompass the entire series. This is urban Black romance. It's gritty. the romance, like it's romance in the first book, but then the second and third book, you really get to see like this street violence gang aspect come into effect, and you have all these different perspectives, and it just really, really worked. And I'm excited to read Capadonna, which is like the next set in this family series. Then we also have Secret of the Reaping by Kaylin Bayron. This one is the sequel to The Vanquishers. I think this is either the second or third book in that series, but again, middle grade horror, absolutely excellent. Another series that I gobbled up, and the sequels just kept getting better and better. Then we have new releases I haven't read yet, but am really excited to read. There's only two on this list. The first one being A Touch of Blood by Sajni Patel, and the second one being The Lotus Empire by Tasha Suri. I'm actually in the middle of reading The Lotus Empire, and I keep looking at A Touch of Blood, and I'm like, I'm gonna get to you. I promise I'm gonna get to you. Then we have most anticipated releases for the second half of the year, and there's 4 on this list. One of them actually I have sitting right here, but that's Pearl City by Julia V and Ken Babel. This is the third and final book in the Phoenix Horde series, and another one that I am about a fourth of the way through right now, and it's already looking to be an amazing experience. The next one is Blood Moon by Brittany S. Lewis. This is giving vampires, it's giving witches and werewolves, it's giving black girl living in a small town just trying to make it out, and all these supernatural paranormal things happening with a sprinkle and a dash of romance. Catabasis by R.F. Kuang. I believe that comes out this month being August, and it's going to take so much willpower to not stop everything I am doing when I finally get that book in my hands. I don't even actually know what it's about. I don't. I know it's like based on some, not historical, but like classical text, I think. But I just know that R. Kwong is going to do an incredible job with it, as she always does. And the fourth book on this list is Eternal Ruin by Tajas Jerma. This is the sequel to Immortal Dark. Another one that kind of like really surprised me. I'm really looking forward to not finally, it's not out yet, but just getting back into that world, getting back into the head of that main character. Then we have biggest disappointment so far. There's only 2. The first one being Shadows of Pearl by JL. This is the sequel to House of Marion. It just did not live up to the first book. It didn't live up to what I know JL is capable of as a writer, because this isn't the first book I've read by her. So it was just a little weird and a little slow going. I will be reading the third book. I can't remember the name of it, but yeah, I'm hoping that, she pulls it together, because that second book the pacing was wonky with that one. And then also How to Marry Keanu Reeves in 90 Days by K.M. Jackson. I ended up DNFing at that one at like 50 or 70% or something. It was not for me. It really was not for me. Then we have biggest surprises. I've talked about one of them, which was A Sky Full of Elephants. Highly recommend that book. I have highlighted that book so much. But then also another big surprise for me, Immortal Dark. Hence why I'm super excited to get to the sequel, Eternal Ruin. Immortal Dark was just the right amount of angsty anger, vampire lore, and just like everything I needed it to be. Just everything. It was absolutely everything. 7th superlative we have is a book that made me cry or emotional. There's 5 of them on here. The first one being All the Noise at Once by Deandra Davis, I believe, is the author's name. I talked about that in a recent wrap-up. Ruin Road, which was, who's that by? The same author as The Getaway, Lamar Giles. It just really hit me in the feels. It really did. Another one that I talked about in a recent wrap-up, and investigates grief and investigates fear and the neutrality of fear, and it was good, and it was heartfelt, and it was definitely emotional, and a really solid read. We also have I'll Be Gone for Christmas. The author's name is escaping me, but this one was a heartfelt Christmas time, split perspective, not even coming of age because they're already adults, but they were just trying to find their way, and they had to like completely go outside of their circle to do that. Really enjoy that one. The Message by Ta-Nehisi Coates probably could have gone under, surprised me as well, but this one just makes you want to rage but also be super sad about the state of the world and how we are still repeating the same mistakes over, well, I don't even know if they're mistakes, if the systems are working as intended. So they're not really mistakes. We keep allowing the same atrocities to happen, just to different people, you know? And then All My Rage by Saba Tahir. Saba Tahir writes incredible character work and incredible relationships. And this one is a YA contemporary that deals with grief, it deals with depression, it deals with emotional neglect by a parent. And I loved it. I loved every second of it. It was hard to get through at sometimes, but I still loved every second of it. It was absolutely incredible. The eighth superlative is a book that made me happy. So many to choose from, but the first one I put down was I Got Abducted by Aliens, and now I'm stuck in a rom-com by Kimberly Lemming. This is a really cool alien romance retelling of The Wizard of Oz, which sounds so wild when you say it out loud, but it was just a fun ride, hilarious, it was great, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what Kimberly Lemming does next in this particular world, because I'm pretty sure it's a series, because on the story graph it has it as book number 1. We also have Savvy Summers and The Sweet Potato Crimes, a cozy mystery, the first in what I'm thinking is going to be a series, just the way that it's set up and the way that cozy mysteries work. But this one had a lot of great character work, a great community surrounding the main character, and it was fun but also introspective as well, which I enjoyed. And we have Hamajang Luck. I forgot the author's name, but this one is like a heist that takes place on a different, are they on a different planet, or are they like on a space station type thing? But this one has found family, and it was a great time, a great ride. I look forward to whatever else this author puts out. The fourth book under books that made me happy was Didn't See That Coming by Jessie Q Satanto. Again, I will never get tired of saying that Jessie Q Satanto never misses, because she doesn't. She doesn't. Okay? This book, funny, engaging, it did what it needed to do. It really did what it needed to do. And another one that I loved absolutely every moment of it, and it was just great. The last one is We'll Prescribe You a Cat, which I just happened upon in Barnes & Noble over my birthday weekend, and I saw it and I immediately connected to it because, as you probably know, if you don't, now you do, I have a cat, and she just kind of like magically appeared in all of our lives, and she is just like the best. She lights up the world wherever she goes, and I really connected to the idea of being prescribed a cat, like the universe being like, you know what, you need a cat. And this one, you follow several, I think it's 3 different sets of people who are going through a really rough time in life, and they come into contact with these cats who just help them get through what they're getting, what they need to at that moment, and I loved it. And the last superlative is books I want to read by the end of the year, and I have 3 on here. The first one being The Lady of Rapture by Sarah Rowley. This is the 3rd and last book in the Bones of Ruin series. I need to get to this before the year ends. I'm tired of putting it off. I really am. I absolutely adore and love this series. Then we have 2 that are actually from favorite authors, but they're the start of new series for them. The first one being Air by Saba Tahir, and the second one being The Gods Below by Andrea Stewart. I know that these 2, actually all 3 of these in this section, are going to be good, and I just need to do it. Like, you can kind of see that they're here. They are here. They're ready to be read. They are in reaching distance. It will happen. It must happen. And that is it for my mid-year Freakout Tag. Thank you so much for watching this video. Comment down below your best book of the year so far, your worst, if you want to be, you know, cheeky and messy like that, and let me know a book that surprised you as well, because I always like knowing what books surprise people. If you're interested in getting yourself a bookmark, make sure to check out my recently relaunched Etsy. And if you like my shirt, where you can tell people that you're living life or experiencing life one page at a time, make sure to check out my bonfire. Everything's always linked down below, and I will see you in another video. Bye.
Weakness showing, I ain't living for the moment. I see what's mine and I want it. Hungry like a Pac-Man, I'm Bruce Wayne and Batman. I'm Naruto with a Hanzo, got a sharp mind like I'm Einstein. Plus I'm copywriting, so it's all mine. Check it for me, I'm